What's up, guys? We're back. And today I wanted to talk more about really context of our Ladue 52 trip because I forgot to mention in the last video. We also want to share how we prepped for the trip as well as talk about our travel day. So we're finally here and we're excited to make this story for you guys. So if you enjoy it, please subscribe and in the comments tell us what we can't miss and what we got to see while we're here because we're excited to do all the things. So to give you a bit more context about Ladue 52, we were planning to take 52 weeks in Southeast Asia, but we needed a home base, so we chose Manila for a few reasons. Number one, the cost of living is what we understand to be cheaper than a lot of different parts of Southeast Asia. And number two, I know the local language. So as far as talking and communicating with the locals and it'll be the easiest for us to get by on a day-to-day basis. And with that said, carrying a US passport, um, Americans can travel to the Philippines visa free for 30 days. And if you want to extend past 30 days, then you'll have to apply at the local embassy for an extension, and extensions cost, extra money. So I was trying to figure out how to get a long stay or long-term visa for a year, and there's other options that people brought to my attention. There's one example called Balikbayan. If you're from here, then you can stay for a year. And there's other long-term visas. But in my conversations with the consulate in New York, he told me that when you arrive, you have a 30-day timer, and you have to leave the country within 30 days without incurring any fees or any penalties. So when you arrive, you have to have a ticket to leave. And uh, and I told him that our idea was to travel. So he said, well, if you leave the country, when you return, your timer starts again. And it's perfect, right, for us. So travel is built into this 52-week journey, and we don't have to pay any extra fees. We don't have to stand in any lines to extend our visa. We just go to another country and come back. Every time you return back to the Philippines, you have to have your next travel booking already booked to show immigration, which is awesome. Also, another very important part of this 52 weeks, it's about learning. We're taking a risk by removing our kids from normal school back in the US. I'm sorry, the sun's starting to rise over here. So we're definitely taking a risk moving our kids out of normal school. So a very important part of this journey will be to share the differences in culture to our three little ones. And what I mean by that is we hope to not just show them uh, how different life is in a country like the Philippines, but to have them experience some things and and spend time in the province and really feel what it's like to live their native bloodline culture. So we're excited to give them those opportunities while we're here. So I got a lot of questions, a lot of emails, and a lot of texts from you all saying, "How did you pull it off?" Right. So what I'll say is there's a lot of preparation that took place to make this possible. Um, you know, I literally had to make a checklist of all the things that we had to consider before we left. Specifically, what to do with our house, what to do with our cars, what to do with our dog. We have a 3-year-old German Shepherd. What to do with our stuff, And yeah, so all these are all things that we had to figure out before we left. And then when we got here, where we're going to stay, where we're going to call home base, what are we going to do about money? And we had to meticulously go through each one to make it happen. So let's start from the top. Um, our the kids, it was a very easy decision to get them to Florida virtual school. We've My kids are experienced at Florida virtual school before COVID, during COVID. So, I know the deal and the transition and how it works. So moving the three of them into Florida virtual was a very easy decision for us. So kids school, check. Next would be our house. So what do we do with our house? Well, to make this trip possible, there's some stars that had to have aligned, and thankfully for us, they did. We actually owned a second property that we were living in and renting our first property, and we had sold that second property in May, June of 2023. This is before we figured out that I no longer had a job. So we had a little nest egg from that sale, and then moving back to the original property, um, we got the news that I was let go, and we thought, man, with this nest egg, what we can do is we can rent the house again, like we did last year. It was very easily rented. And the proceeds from the rental will subsidize also the cost of the rental in the Philippines. So it was a very easy win there. So house, check. Next would be the stuff. So the next thing we had to consider, if we're going to be renting our houses, what are we going to do with all our stuff? I'm I'm a minimalist type of guy. I don't wear brands. I don't um, like showy things. So any opportunity that I'm given to reflect and look at our stuff and figure out what we really need, I'm okay with. Hey, let's just get rid of it. And the stuff that you really want, it's gonna rise to the top, and you'll figure out what you really want to keep when you have to throw everything away. Um, but that's not what we did. My wife really likes our couch and she loved our bed. And so I said, okay, well, we have to figure out where to put this stuff. So thankfully, there's a brand new storage that's 2 miles from our house that just opened up, and we were able to stuff our things in there for a very reasonable price, and with some help with some friends. Thank you guys for helping me move. We're able to get everything in the storage and taken care of. So stuff, check. Another very important aspect of leaving, and actually one of the hardest things to consider, was our puppy. um, Hawker is our dog. Yes, he is a COVID puppy acquisition. We actually bought him right before COVID. It was November before COVID. Anyway, um, but we obviously we would love to take him, but there's a lot of towers in BGC where we're planning on staying that didn't allow big dogs. So it was hard, but we made the decision to leave him behind. And in looking for boarding for him, it's impossible to find boarding uh, for 12 months for a dog. It's not good for them psychologically, and so yeah, that was out of the question. So the next option would be to leave him with family. Thankfully, our extended family in Jacksonville, Florida, I posted a picture of Hawker, and they reached out to me, and they asked what we were doing with Hawker, and they said they would gladly take him. So Debbie and Jeff, thank you so much for taking care of our fur baby. We couldn't have done it without you. We know he's happy, and yeah, so it makes us warms our heart knowing that our puppy uppy is happy. So puppy check. one of the last things and easiest things to consider is the cars. So we have two cars, and when came time, we considered borrowing them, with a friend or with my brother-in-law, or just simply selling them. And, you know, because of liability, we just thought it's easier just to sell them. So that was an easy decision. Sell the cars. Cars are just things. We'll figure out transportation when we get back. Cars, check. So once we figured out the rental of the house, where we're going to stay, storage, the dog, the cars. Uh, Now all that's left is going. So we booked a ticket, one-way ticket to the Philippines, and it was countdown from there. So once all of those Lego pieces were finally fit together, um, it was it was surreal, and and the anxiety kind of grew in your stomach, and it was exciting, right? So travel day came, and we were frantically getting the house ready before we left, cleaning and moving everything into the storage, and it was a whirlwind the last couple days, and completely stressed. I told the wife that I wanted to avoid waiting till last minute, clean and get everything out of there. And of course, we waited till the last minute to clean and get everything out of there, because there's no other way it could have been done. Um, so the travel, we prep by making sure the kids are all set up and happy. The kids have to have their devices. We stopped by Walmart to make sure that each of them had their favorite snack for the plane. And about 27-hour flight, we're off. First stop was Philly, a city of brotherly love. I have no clue where that slogan came from because it's so not true. But anyway, first stop was Philly. It's a relatively small flight compared to the ones we're about to take. So first leg from Orlando to Philly, it was easy. Yeah, and fairly painless. The second leg, however, was from Philly to Doha in Qatar, and that leg was 12 hours. So before the flight, sitting in Philadelphia airport, we're trying to get the kids to eat, and it's looking forward to a long flight. It's grueling, but we got on the plane. The kids were relatively still excited. Um, I think the hardest part is when you're on the plane, you don't know what time it is. You don't feel the sense of you kind of like your biological clock goes away because the air pressure and the sun visors are down, so you just don't know what time it is. So the kids were literally up until like 3 to 4 in the morning. I'm like, go to sleep. But we survived yet again. Some picky eating on the airplane, but what kids aren't picky, right? So yeah, so we made it to Doha. Uh, Doha is one of my favorite airports in the world, and I was so looking forward to showing the kids, the big teddy bear, taking a picture in front of the big teddy bear, and all the shops, and it's a full mall. It puts U.S. airports to shame. The lounge in Doha, there's nothing like it in the United States. So I was so looking forward to bringing them and to see all those things. Problem is, our stopover was 50 minutes, 50 minutes. And so we literally landed in Doha, we used the restroom, and we had to go straight to our next flight to Manila. So we got to see none of the things, which is saddening to me, but it's okay. We get a good stretch, we use the restroom, and we run on to the next plane. Leg number three, Doha to Manila, was a little bit more the same. That was a 9-hour flight and more the same. You have no clue what time it is. You're just like a zombie sitting in a chair. Um, if anyone knows me, if you know me, you know that I like to um, uh, play the points game and figure out how to get us all in business class. But because booking of the flight and everything was done so succinctly and so quickly, we stayed in economy, and my back suffered for it. So, but after 9 hours from Doha to Manila, we finally make it where our end goal is to Manila. And man, everyone was so happy and so excited. And we're finally
Yeah,
here. And the sun has risen, and I look like some sort of Apple commercial with my head
it's not the
floating.
important
But
kind.
um, we're happy to be here, and we're so thankful for you guys for the text messages and the DMs and the um, all the ways you guys are contacting us. So we're very happy to share as much as we can. This video takes me maybe an hour or two to make, and so we hope to do this every week for you guys. Um, if you can, please hit the subscribe button, and to keep up to date with where we're headed, and also leave some comments down below. We're looking for mangoes. We're looking for good spots in Makati. We're looking for night markets to hit up. So if you have any suggestions, please let us know. We want to do all the things while we're here. Um, but yeah, that's all for this episode. We will see you soon, and we're so excited to share this with you guys. Take care.